All right, so we're live. Oh wait, I need to create a share screen. I'm gonna pop this in here. All right. Okay. All right, now we're gonna share screen. What are we doing? Okay, we're gonna share a window. We're gonna share this thing. All right, sharing that. Okay. Oh wait, I should drop a link just in case somebody shows up. How do I do that? Drop in a link. Okay. I think that flags it. All right. Okay. So what are we doing now? We're adding this one to the stage. So what I'm doing, I need to create what do you call it? Some emails that I need to send to the city council. Feel free to chat in the chat or jump on if you want to talk. I feel better not talking to myself, but I'll talk to myself if I have to. Anyway, and I'm drinking. And the unbirthday thing, I'm finishing off. I don't know if y'all can see that, but Navasota has a meadery, and they make cool stuff, including um, this unbirthday thing. So I'm gonna have some of that while I gather some information that I'm then gonna ask the city council people to chat with me about that. Um, anyway, so yeah, so the upshot is there's this ballpark thing. Uh, let's see what comes up if you look at Ballpark College Station proposed. They've got this letter of intent thing. So this group community impact, which is like it's a way to sell ads, but in a nutshell, so the station baseball. So they're trying to get the city to give them money to build a baseball field, and I don't know if y'all know about stuff, but anyway, there's a summer college league thing called the Brazos Valley Bombers that kind of got pushed out of Bryan, which is the sister city of College Station. And for some reason, there are people in College Station city government that are intent on building them. They say it's not just for them, but uh, I, it it appears to be just for them. Um, like a multi-million dollar baseball field for their use. And then anyway, so they're talking about giving them land, money, doing a bunch of infrastructure stuff uh, for a proposed 90-acre complex. So in this, uh, they're talking about a letter of intent, um, but I'm trying to find the actual letter. I think this came out in. It's really strange that people are getting excited. They're at least saying they're excited about this, which is it's just weird because they're talking about throwing a lot of money for not a lot. So the numbers that they bring up are 28 million in estimated annual economic impact, which is about the same as 3 Chick-fil-A's, and the numbers that they're talking about are something like 45 or 50 million dollars that the taxpayers would be giving to them. So let me try to find that letter of intent. February CSTX City Council meeting 2026. All right, so it's probably to the blog. And they've got a solid blog here. And so let me do the letter of intent. See if I can find that letter. So this is the presentation that they gave. So they're talking about building 9 fields, and there's a whole history with baseball in this. Like the city government has been trying to push this thing down our throats for a while. They had a what do you call it? A vote on a bond issue when back in the day they went on ahead and got a certificate of obligation to build 4 fields, and then they did that. Certificate of obligation means that they don't have to ask the voters, and then they did the second 4 fields as a bond vote, and the voters went against it, and then which I was surprised by, because usually voters, they don't see a connection between spending and taxes, and they just vote for things, and then they say, why are our taxes so high? It's because you vote for a lot of spending. And so yeah, so they voted it down, and then some stuff happened with the soil, and they wound up not being able to build it. Or I mean, they could have, like, oh, it was going to cost an extra $15 million, which I was surprised that stopped them, because now they're talking about spending way more than they were talking about earlier. And in this case, it's all going to be privately owned, which I don't know. I find it incredible that anybody sees this as a good deal. So this is what they're talking about. And so they're talking about doing this as a privately owned thing, where the company would get, I think, a free 50-year lease to the land, which was valued, I don't know how reasonable the valuation was, but on the order of $150,000 per acre. So times, if we call that 63 acres, so it was valued at roughly $9.5 million for this, and so they would get a free 50-year lease for it. And along with that, they're talking about giving them $20 million cash. Yeah, so here it is. So actually, I should double check. I thought it was a 50-year lease, but maybe it's less. Let's see. And then an option for a 30-acre sale of this hospitality and amenity site. So they would get $30 million 30 acres where it would be $20,000 per acre. So a savings of about $130,000 per acre. So if the value of that part of it times, and then we call it 30, so that would be valued at around $4 million. So that's, yeah, part of it. So if we do 9.5 plus 4 plus 20 million for the cash, and then what else are they talking about doing? Property tax abatement, but the property taxes on this would be not a ton. I think College Station's property tax levels are on the order of $500 per $100,000. So if this is a $50 million project, so 50 times 0.005, I think that's right. like $250,000 per year that they're getting written off for 10 years. So that's 2.5 million. So that's not nothing, but it's not. So if we, and of course, you'd have to reduce things to deal with the time value of money, but just the borrowing costs are so low for the city. It's not. I don't know. This is cutting corners, but just to give an idea of what we're talking about. Clawbacks for non-performance, but there's a history of the city does not claw back things, which is, it's difficult to claw back things. And if it's not your money, which is not their money, it's easy to kind of let things go because you don't want to have a fight with somebody. City would be responsible for off-site utilities and roadway improvements, which they were talking about $15 million before, but according to the latest proposed city budget, it's going to be $19 million. So plus 19 million. And then let's see, what were the other things? That was basically it. So if we do this, we're talking about how much? $55 million in kind of benefits going to this private company. And yeah, $55 million, which I think is, I don't know, it's worth thinking about, not going into it willy-nilly. And if we go to CSTX proposed budget, so this is what they released about a month ago. Let's see. Where's the actual thing? Man. Okay. Complete documentation. Maybe they had a link before, but man, where is that? Okay, proposed budget. So it's a giant PDF. And then if we look at Ballpark, I don't know. Where is it? That didn't work. I'll do a search for baseball. Got a microphone in the way of my thing. Yeah, so they're estimating, so they're expecting to do it by the end of the fiscal year, which is about a year from now. Their fiscal year, I guess, is around the end of September. And so they're talking about giving up $20 million cash to these guys, which I find, that's a lot of money to be given up to a private business. And in exchange, they're talking about the city getting in return public access Monday through Friday. My understanding is Friday's not even on the table because Friday is a day that sometimes they'll use for tournaments, and the public would not get access if they're talking about doing a tournament. And then the city would get access on available weekends at a rate, they say, comparable to city facilities. So in other words, the people who own this thing are going to have every incentive to make sure that they keep it booked, because the city facilities cost not a ton. I think it's on the order of like $300 or $500 a day or something like that. And so what they do in Bryan, they have a separate a private management company, and what they'll do is they'll have like in summer Fridays when nobody's working it, instead of letting the little league folks have it, they'll have like adult kickball and stuff like that because they can make more money on booze and whatnot that they sell than they would from the little leaguers. So they the idea that this is going to have a whole lot of uh, public access for like little kids to play little league is um, it's going to be real limited as far as what's going on that front. And so basically the city's giving up $55 million worth of stuff in exchange for um, a little bit of access to this facility on off days. And then a big thing that they're touting is this $28 million annually in estimated economic impact. And to give an idea of what that means, a huge chunk of that is going to be from hotel stuff, which hotels don't pay general fund sales taxes, so it's not money that you can spend on police, fire, things like that. It can only go to what they call the HOT fund, the Hotel Occupancy Tax Fund, and so that means that you can't use it on useful things. So for the most part now, like if we look at what they spend the HOT fund on, HOT fund. What did they do? So where they talk about the project, how it's going to get funded. This is the thing that I didn't see before. This I think just came out with the budget, but they said the city baseball fields, note number 3. So they're going to throw the $20 million from at them, and that is the project is going to be funded via certificates of obligation. So those are essentially bonds or debt instruments that don't go to a vote, and then they'll have transfers from the HOT funds, which my understanding is that now it's a little less than $10 million that they have, and then a general fund transfer. So they're going to take money from the general funds, that stuff that comes from taxpayers that could be used on police, firefighters, things like that. And that's the thing that they can use to address how much is going into the general funds. That they could do things like reduce property taxes or fees, things like that. But hotels cannot affect the general funds. And so, so what they do with the HOT fund right now is so let's see, Christmas lights for City Hall. They've got a tourism administration, so people whose job it is to try to drum up tourism, which I think is a super difficult job, something that the government, I don't think they're going to be able to do a great job with that. I think the market is amazing at it. That's how we have things like the Santa's Wonderlands, which if you're not from here, it's crazy. People come from all over to go visit this place. They do a crazy job. It's like Disneyland or something, but Christmas themed. And so the money they get right now from the HOT is so they get, oh man, transfers in, okay, this is, all right, I don't know. Hotel fund transfers. Okay. So they get about $9 million a year. Okay. So, and we have the giant university and stuff like that. So that's we get a lot of traffic from that. So that's expected to stay about the same. But where? Let's see. Where does it go out? So a lot of it goes to like Arts Center of the Brazos Valley. And so they get, yeah, on the order of $600,000, which there's a whole thing with them. I don't know. But I should just stick with what's going on. So I should write up some emails. And so the big things here, let me look at the baseball fields. So 20 million, and then they have, yeah, the 19 million. So I'll make sure to throw those in. Yeah. Forecast assumes, okay, and that's good. They call this discretionary, because it definitely is. Hopefully, no promises. I mean, behind the scenes promises have been made, but for sure, nothing locked in. And you know, I feel kind of bad that this, but I hope it can be stopped. So they're talking about, yeah, 5 million. And water stuff. Okay, so that's what's going on. Yeah, okay. And then the 20 million, yeah, going from the hot fund. So they should hope. I wish I could at least convince them to put it to a vote, because I think 55 million is pretty over the top as far as giving something to a private business in order to get not a whole lot back. Anyway, so I don't know. Nobody's in, which is fine. Let me see. Is it just me that's in here? It could be, and that'd be fine. But if you're in there, you know, feel free to pop something in the chat or something. Oh, maybe I'll just write the emails. So how do we find city council members? CSTX council, not council. What am I doing? Terrible, terrible. Okay. And yeah, they've got their emails right there, so that's strange. Okay, so I can use that. Does not like my thing. And so we've got 7 people on council, and so I'll probably email each of them individually and just say, hey, these are the numbers as I see them. Curious if I'm missing something or if I've got a number wrong, but it looks like we would be paying out a whole lot for not a lot of benefit to the city. So happy to discuss with you either on a call or over coffee or whatever. So I'm gonna send that. Yeah. Anyway, hope y'all are doing well. I suppose I'll jump off here. We're gonna keep it going until it's 30 minutes. We'll do that. Trying to break the fourth wall. Keep a place open. But if somebody jumps on, then we can do that. When is their next meeting? CSTX schedule. We could do Channel 19, CSTX. So they've got this, so you can look at old things that they did. Man, all right. And so today is the 23rd. So it looks like they have a council meeting on the 27th. So we can look at the agenda for that. Let's do the packet, and then we can delete it because they're usually pretty big. This one's going to be big. Okay. And it pops open right there at the end. We'll zoom in. So they've got the executive session. Let's see if they're talking about the Mark Hopkins shooting, an economic development agreement with College Station Town Center. So those guys are, yeah. Okay. So those are things that are going on. Okay. Yeah, they are talking about Hopkins. So I don't recall, when's that case starting? Oh, okay. So there was a mediation failed. I wonder what the city's stance is. I get the it'd be hard to run away from the fact that they've got qualified immunity on their side, like, and there's a really good chance that a court's going to find that this is a new way that they found to, even if it is a violation of his civil rights, which I think that'd be obvious. But if it's new, then it's still likely to get thrown out. So the city's got a pretty solid reason to at least roll the dice. Okay, one in the federal courtroom, the other in criminal court. The attorneys for Hopkins family, so this is KVTX, this is the local CBS affiliate. More than 3 years after the search warrant ended, yeah. So we've got Escobar is now scheduled to have a trial November 30th. So that's about 3.5 years after the search happened. Hopkins, Blaine College student preparing to transfer to A&M, shot and killed by police. On February 8th, his officers executed a search warrant at the home on Spring Loop, at his home on Spring Loop. Lawyers say Hopkins and his girlfriend were awakened when they thought intruders were breaking into the house in early morning hours. That's when he grabbed a shotgun and opened fire. Police fired back, killing him. It's kind of a strange way to put it. Court records released days after the shooting confirmed Escobar, not Hopkins, was never the focus of the narcotics. This is a poorly written sentence. Court records confirmed Escobar was the focus of the narcotics investigation. Hopkins was not the focus of the investigation, but they claimed that he was involved in money laundering. And then later on they said, okay, yeah, that was a typo. Brazos County grand jury later cleared the officer who fired the fatal shot, finding no criminal conduct, and he returned to duty weeks later. That's correct as far as I know. Later that year, Hopkins' family filed a petition against the city, accusing officers of using a false statement to obtain the search warrant, which I think is uncontroversial. The city acknowledged later, like, for a while they said, for all we know, Hopkins might have been involved in the drug deal, and then they said, yeah, that wasn't true. That was a typo when we said that Hopkins was involved. And withholding body camera footage allegations, the city is denied. Also, what came out was that the city kind of were trying to make it. They called it a knock and announce warrant, but it turned out and that yeah, it was dead of night. They busted in the door 15 seconds after originally knocking, and all kinds of stuff. And they used a flashbang. They kind of did not make that clear for 8 months. They were kind of making it sound like Hopkins was fully aware that they were police, and he thought that he was going to shoot his way out or something. And it turned out that was not correct. By December, the two sides had reached a temporary agreement to share the additional case information under a protective order. Yeah, that was December of 2023. On the one-year anniversary of Hopkins' death, family said key questions remained unanswered, and the case record stayed sealed by the court. That July, trial date first set for Escobar on his drug trafficking-related charges, that was pushed back. It's been pushed back a lot. The prosecution has done unopposed, not opposed the motions for continuance, and then the latest one, I think it was supposed to be in February or January, and that was actually the prosecution asked for more time because they said they were going to be on vacation the week after the trial, which was a date that they agreed to beforehand. I'm not sure why they didn't realize that when they set the schedule in November of 2025. But anyway, in February 2025, the Hopkins family and Hopkins' girlfriend filed a new federal lawsuit against the city and 11 officers, revealing for the first time that police used an M84 flashbang grenade during the raid. That's not true. The first time that it came out that the police used an M84 flashbang was in October of 2023. The city probably didn't publicly acknowledge that, but the family did say flashbang in October 2023. That was when I learned about it, because I had spoken with the police chief, and I got lightly perturbed that the police chief, the way he characterized the search, and then it turned out, no, there was a flashbang. And yeah, the way he spoke about it made it sound like obviously there wasn't a flashbang. And so that makes me think that he was, it goes beyond just withholding information. Is that, talking with him for an hour and saying that he didn't see how Hopkins couldn't have realized that they were officers. Like, if you throw a flashbang, your intention is to make the other person confused and unable to hear anything. And so, yeah, you throw those at 6 a.m, expecting Hopkins to know what's going on is bananas. Although it turns out that they don't keep records of training, and so I don't know. Maybe they don't know. They shouldn't be using them, though, if they don't know what those flashbangs do. So what the lawsuit is seeking, complaint accuses officers of unreasonable search and seizure, excessive deadly force, invasion of privacy, failure to properly train and supervise officers. That seems, Hopkins' parents are seeking damages for their son's pain and suffering before his death, funeral expenses, and the loss of their son. Okay, yeah. Hopkins' girlfriend seeking damages for her injuries and the trauma of witnessing Hopkins' death. So she was in the closet. They had both retreated to the closet when the police kicked in their bedroom door, and there's some dispute about who shot first. And one thing that I'm unclear on is where Hopkins shot. The shotgun damage was on an outside wall, like an exterior wall, and I'm not sure if that's where the officer was standing, because the family claims that he was shot, and that was when the trigger was pulled, when Hopkins was shot. So there's some dispute over who shot first and whether Hopkins was trying to hurt or was trying to shoot a police officer or not. The lawsuit also asked for punitive damages against the two officers directly involved in the shooting and the flashbang deployment. So the flashbang deployment, that was Lee, and along with the court order requiring the city to change its policy on flashbang devices. It's insane to me that the city's not changing it, like not creating a policy on flashbang devices. Like they don't have one. No specific dollar amount is listed in the complaint, but it seems obvious that if it's not pretty large, the city has no intention of making any changes. And there for 8 months, they were getting away with lying about or saying things that were patently false. I don't know about lying, but whatever. What's next for Escobar? Escobar now faces 6 pending charges. He's currently, it looks like he's got a place on a lake in Dallas. I would, if I were him, I'd be pushing this trial till forever. So money laundering, possession of marijuana, counts of engaging in organized criminal activity, 2 counts of anyway, yeah, he's got a lot to deal with. But yeah, the city, yeah, it's not surprising to me that the city is kind of pushing on that one. Because there's a good chance it gets thrown out because qualified immunity in Texas is pretty solid in our circuit. Yeah. So anyway, so that one. So they are talking about that one. And I suspect the city would be real interested in coming to an agreement if it doesn't get thrown out in court. But there's a really good chance that it'll get thrown out, just because of the way the law works on violating civil liberties. It's got to be clearly established, and it's very possible that the city has done something technically that the courts have not said anything about. Okay. Yep, 30 minutes. We're going to end this. We're going to delete it. Okay, take care. Bye.